Good morning, everyone. It is a beautiful Wednesday summer morning. I have a cup with my name on it. Okay. Anyways, so today is a good day for a foundation review. We are going to be reviewing the Tarte Foundcealer. This is not really a new foundation. It's been around for a little bit, but since I do have it, I do want to talk about the product. It is supposed to be a very dewy, luminous finish and quite good coverage as well, so I'm pretty excited about that. I'm just filming with the natural light right now. I kind of moved all my crap out of the way and just letting the sunlight sink into my face. I figured that would give us an accurate depiction of what the foundation actually looks like. I'm hoping. I'm still trying to get my shit together, okay? But this is the best we can do for now. That's a long ass name. Babassu Foundcealer Skincare Foundation SPF 20. That is the name, and here's what it says. Okay. A vegan makeup and skincare hybrid that's an everyday foundation for achieving an ultra comfortable, radiant or natural radiant finish and custom coverage. Interesting. Sephora says the coverage is medium, finish is radiant, liquid foundation obviously has Babassu in it, which I'm not entirely sure what that is. Sunflower seed, rich in vitamin A and E to help hydrate, regenerate, and condition the skin, and hyaluronic acid, which is a lovely little ingredient that helps retain moisture. Free of parabens, formaldehydes, phthalates, mineral oil, triclosan. This product is also vegan, cruelty-free, and gluten-free. So that is the kind of rundown stats, if you will, of the foundation. What it looks like. You do get 1 fluid ounce of product. It's a little bit of an airtight seal, kind of like the Drunk Elephant packaging, so that's pretty neato. I got the lightest shade, which is 8B Porcelain Beige, which seems to be a little bit light for me right now in the summer. I think it'll probably make a wonderful winter shade, but we're gonna try it out anyway. I have tried this foundation once before, but it was mixed with the CC cream, so I didn't really get a good read on how it performed on its own. So today we're gonna do application, full day wear test, and yeah. So I do actually have the brush that it comes with too. It feels nice and dense and lovely, so we're gonna try this out on one half of the face. I'm gonna do a sponge on the other, and yeah, let's get on to it. This sponge is still wet from yesterday, so I think I'm just gonna leave it. Okay, so there wasn't really directions on like how much to apply or anything, so I'm just gonna do like a solid pump or so. I'm gonna dot this on one half of the face. Yeah, this is a wee bit light right now. Okay, so I'm just going to do about that much. I'm going to dot it on so I can control kind of how much product I put on both sides. And I'm going to stipple that in with the brush. Oh, it's a little light. It's okay. It matches my neck color right now. And I did put on a tinted sunscreen, which does give me a little bit of a tan, so this should be fine. The brush feels pretty good. It feels, honestly, the brush is like very, very dense. In comparison, this one is a Sephora collection one. It's one of my favorite foundation brushes. This still has some give and some movement to it, but this is like a brick. I don't know how I feel about it, but it seems to be applying the foundation quite well. I usually don't put foundation on my forehead. I don't know what possessed me to do that, but fine, we're here. Okay, that was pretty quick and easy to blend out. Okay, it did pretty well with a brush. Honestly, I'm seeing a few little areas here where I would probably smooth it over with a sponge, but it's looking quite nice. I did all my normal skin prep. I did lightweight moisturizer, facial oil, and then a sunscreen, so it's all business as usual on the skin. I'm gonna go on the other side. And I'm going to do this side with a sponge. I'm going to try to do like a similar amount. Okay, so now I'm going to take my little damp beauty blender and I'm going to press that in. Now, apparently this is supposed to be a foundation and concealer. I don't think this is going to be enough coverage to be a concealer for anyone unless you have like no dark circles. This is very dewy. Like, it looks like I just put on like a bunch of skincare. Honestly, the coverage and the finish is not too different on either side. So I think this is one that would work well with either a brush or a sponge, depending on how you like to apply your foundation. I do like the brush. It is very dense, so you have to like a quite dense brush. But I do think it worked well, and it was easy to kind of smooth everything over with it. I'm gonna try to build up the coverage in just a few little areas. I'm just gonna go in kind of right down here where I like a little bit more coverage, and then I'm gonna put a little bit more on my nose. If I can avoid putting concealer around my nose, I will, because my nose gets really red, but it also has like the most texture of anywhere on my face, so I don't like to put a lot of product on there. A little dab on the chin. Foundation is quite moist, so you have a good amount of working time, it seems like. I am pretty flaky and dry on my nose right now, so I'm not really gonna judge the foundation too much around that, but it's actually not looking too bad at all. So I think we're at about a medium coverage, and that was with kind of 2 coats, and it looks pretty nice. So you could definitely do this as a more kind of sheer foundation, and I think you probably could continue to build the coverage if you want a little bit more, because it did build quite nicely. I think you do have to wait like a little bit for it to kind of set a little bit before you go in with another layer, but it is looking pretty dang good. Okay, hopefully you can see what my skin looks like. This looks very skin-like. It literally just looks like I put on like a bunch of skincare. I will say this is not a blurring foundation by any means. You can still see, especially like my pores, you can still see them. I wouldn't say it really emphasizes them, but it definitely didn't like blur them at all. Literally just looks like skin. It's quite glowy. It's beautiful. Okay, so right now we're looking pretty good. The foundation is still quite tacky. I'm still not gonna set my whole face because I typically don't. I'm gonna go ahead and do the rest of my makeup, and then I will be back and we will do our wear test. Should I do something with my hair? Maybe back? Maybe back. Maybe low pony. Maybe low pony is the way. All right, so I'm back. The rest of my makeup is on. I did a fairly basic makeup. Just went in with a little bit of the Fenty concealer in 120. I was gonna do like all cream products. I didn't set any part of my face, but I wanted to see how a powder would blend on top of it, so I went in with the Fenty bronzer in Shady Biz. It blended pretty well on top. I will say this is really going to depend on how you apply your powder bronzers, because this foundation definitely doesn't set. It's a little bit sticky. You can kind of feel it on your face. I don't personally mind that. If the foundation looks good and hydrated and nice and juicy, I don't really care. The way I apply a powder bronzer on top of kind of a wet base is by using a little bit of a patting motion. I don't go back and forth. I just kind of like tap it on, and then sometimes I'll go over with a beauty blender and kind of tap over it, and that works well for me over a kind of stickier or wet base. If you're someone that really likes to go in and like go back and forth, I would recommend setting this one in those areas. I went in with cream products for the rest of my face. I did the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter for a Superstar Youth Glow. And I put that on my cheekbones and kind of right here, and a little bit on the nose as well, just to kind of give a nice glowy look. And then I went in with my favorite Milk Makeup Lip and Cheek Stick in the shade Rowley, and I put that on my cheeks and on my little lips, and that's basically it. Oh, and Marc Jacobs Velvet Noir Mascara. Super basic face today, but I used a lot of products that I would normally use, and everything looks nice on top of the foundation. My skin looks so just juicy and glowy, and I'm very happy about this. And it's actually staying pretty radiant too. Normally my skin is just like any moisture I put onto it, but it's looking pretty juicy. I gotta stop saying that word. I have a little bit of texture around my nose, but my nose is very crusty and textured right now. So I really don't blame that on the foundation. It's actually not looking too bad considering. Yeah. So like I said, I did not set any part of my face with any powders. I a lot of times don't do that, so I want to see how the foundation wears on its own. I am going to spritz a little Urban Decay All-Nighter. But yeah, the foundation looks great. The only thing I would change about the application probably next time is to do a little bit of a pore filling primer right in here, because you can see my pores since it is so moisturizing. So it's 10:51 right now. I finished the makeup or the foundation around 10:30, so that's what we're gonna call the check-in time. So I will check in with you around 2:30. Yeah, we're gonna do at least 8 hours today. We'll see if we go longer than that. Well, it'll be fine. Anyways, I will see you guys in a little bit. Hello from my balcony. A little bit of different lighting out here. The foundation is doing pretty well. It's about 2 p.m. right now. So the foundation's been on for just 3.5 hours. It's looking quite a bit more matte. I'm not nearly as glowy, but I'm not looking super dry or patchy anywhere, so it still looks quite nice. It's holding pretty dang well. Yeah, it's just, I think the only change is that it's just not quite as glowy as it was. Sorry if you can hear the wind. And yeah, I'll see you guys again in a few hours. Hey guys, I have returned. It is the end of the night. It is 8:19 p.m. at the moment, so the foundation has been on for about 10 hours. So let me grab a mirror. So I think the foundation actually held up pretty well. The coverage has definitely faded, and also my bronzer and my blush have faded as well, and that's usually an indication for me that the foundation underneath isn't as long wearing, but it doesn't look super heavy or cakey or textured anywhere. It just looks like the coverage faded a little bit. I am looking a teeny bit dry right here, but really nothing too bad. Very minimal creasing on my smile lines, which is a problem area for me. The nose looks pretty decent. It has rubbed off in certain areas, but it doesn't look too bad in terms of texture. So yeah, I mean, I think wear time, it's not the best, it's not the worst, it's kind of right in the middle. I would definitely wear it again. Wear time, as long as it doesn't look super disgusting by the end of the day, I don't really care about as much if it fades a little bit, if the coverage fades. That is totally fine with me, and it still looks nice. It looks very skin-like still. Yeah, this is what we're looking like after a 10-hour day. So not too bad. You can see it's rubbed off my nose. My nose looks a little dry, but like I said, I had a lot of texture there to begin with. A little bit of dryness on the upper lip, but nothing too bad. Very minimal smile line creasing. Looks pretty good everywhere else. So yeah, looking good. So keep in mind, really, with any wear test that I do not get oily at all. If anything, I get more dry throughout the day. So this foundation looks a lot more matte than it did when I first put it on, which I know is not the norm. So if you do get oily throughout the day, you may have a different result in terms of wear time. But yeah, I really like this foundation. I thought the coverage was good. I would say it's about a medium, but you can build it up. It's, for me, it was dewy when I first put it on. It was dewy for a few hours, and then it just kind of turned into a kind of natural or satin matte finish, which is fine, but it didn't look dry or textured at all. The only thing I will say is I do feel like it emphasized my pores just a little bit. So I might do a little bit of a smoothing primer here next time. I think it lasted fine unset. It does dry down a little bit throughout the day. My face isn't super sticky or tacky anymore. It just feels kind of nice and hydrated, actually. So I'm fine with that. I'm fine with kind of my foundation staying a little bit tacky. If you're someone that likes your foundation to be a little bit more weightless and to not feel sticky, then you may want to set this one, or at least do a little bit of targeted setting The sunscreen in here does look like it is a physical sunscreen. It's titanium dioxide and zinc oxide. I didn't do a flashback test, but that's something to maybe keep in mind. But it also means that it is reef safe and good for sensitive skin if you are sensitive to chemical sunscreens. I like it. I will continue to wear this. I think it's gonna be really great in the winter time when my skin is a little bit more dry. I would say if you have extremely dry to like maybe combination skin and you like a dewy or kind of naturally radiant finish, then you will love this. Finish is beautiful. It doesn't emphasize texture. It's really, really hydrating. The only thing is I think if you are combination to oily, it probably isn't going to hold up as well throughout the day. So I would recommend either pairing it with a good setting powder or maybe even just using it as kind of like a mixing foundation if you wanted to pick it up if you're more oily. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and also hit that subscribe button. That would be very kind of you. And yeah, I will see you all again soon.